Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jarhead. Now today I was going through YouTube and I saw a video by a channel named Harmon Smith. Have you seen this guy? Have you heard of him? Probably not, but I have heard of him. I've watched him on a channel called Fritonga Plays, where Fritonga talks about some of the stupid stuff this guy has said. But what did this guy do today? What is, compelled me to make a video about him? Well, he made one of the lowest IQ videos I've ever seen talking about the National Dex situation where Game Freak has removed a huge number of Pokemon from Sword and Shield. He made a video defending Game Freak, and you can tell this guy's just a blatant fanboy. No, I love Nintendo and all. Me and him are similar. We make Nintendo-related videos, except I'm not afraid to criticize Nintendo. This guy will not criticize Nintendo because, again, he's a blatant fanboy. So yeah, I want to get into this and take a look at his, just his mindset. You're just gonna have to look at the video for yourself. So let's just jump into it. I think you guys would probably agree. I'm not just some rando on YouTube looking at Pokemon for the first time. I've made tons of video on Pokemon. It is my single favorite franchise, and generally, I have a huge case of all my Pokemon stuff in the back. But this video, it doesn't get me pissed. It doesn't get me mad. It just shows me how stupid some people really are. So let's take a look.
I am very much pro Game Freak in the whole Pokemon bring back the National Dex controversy. I feel like the Pretendos.
So some of you guys are probably like, what's a Pretendo? And I didn't know either when I first watched this video, but I looked at some of his other videos.
Pokemon Sword and Shield has been getting a lot of criticism from Pretendos in regards to not evolve.
And I guess it's just somebody who he disagrees with, or, somebody who criticizes Nintendo is a Pretendo because I guess fans of Nintendo can't criticize Nintendo? I don't understand. But of course, Verlicify, one of the worst PokeTubers out there, clickbait, he's terrible. He commented on this video saying, Pretendo, I like that term. He commented on Harmon Smith's video. It's God, let's continue.
We're up in arms about statements that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have made about Sword and Shield to be laughably off base and hilariously ignorant as to what kind of work goes into a Pokemon game and move.
Okay, so I need to pause Harmon there. So Harmon, if you're, I think you need to formulate what you're actually saying before you spit out some stupid shit like you just did. I don't know what goes into a Pokemon game, truly. I think the devs at Pokemon are working very hard to make this game, but the problem is this game looks like a 3DS game. It has a higher resolution and higher frame rate, but it still looks 3DS. It does not look anything special, and I'm telling you, it probably does take a lot of extra time and a lot of extra money to make the extra Pokemon models, which they had in the last game. They cut them out, but, but that's the thing. Game Freak has time, and they have money. I think every single person who is, wants the National Dex back would be happy to give Game Freak more time to work on the extra Pokemon models. And Game Freak is not anywhere in trouble with money. They have a lot of money, but Game Freak won't do this. Why? Well, it's because they're hungry for money. They don't want to spend more time on Sword and Shield because that means less time on the other games they're working on. And of course, I don't understand why they can't be more like Nintendo. Nintendo does this all the time. They did it with Animal Crossing recently. They did this with Metroid Prime, where they literally restarted development because they thought the game would be bad. So really, I think this is just a stupid point. So let's continue.
Moves that Game Freak has done in the past that are similar to this. It is incredible to me that people can seriously insist that they've been transferring all of their Pokemon upwards up until Gen 8. And
I've done it before. I've done it on multiple occasions. With Generation 4, I got every single Pokemon in the National Dex. Why? Because I love doing it. It is fun. It gives me something to do after I beat the game. Now, I've done it in other games as well. I tried doing it in Omega Ruby and I didn't complete it, but I got really close. So the idea that you don't think anybody transfers their Pokemon and completes the National Dex is just stupid.
Just now can't do this. They don't seem to understand that Ruby and Sapphire existed. They don't seem to understand that features have been conspicuously absent out of subsequent Pokemon games for, probably since Gold and Silver, right? Like Gold and Silver, it got rid of the clock. Why did it get rid of the clock? It wasn't practical at the time. Like the day-night cycle was removed.
So this is the problem. You are comparing apples to oranges here. Nobody cares if Game Freaks decides to get rid of a clock. Why? Because it's a clock. Who cares about a clock? You're comparing having hundreds of Pokemon not be existent in the game to removing a clock. And you can't be that stupid. You cannot be stupid enough to realize that you are making off-base comparisons.
Like the day-night cycle was removed for the third generation because it simply did not suit the technology at that time.
Again, the day and night cycle is not something most Pokemon fans are going to get too pissed off by because it's not that important. It doesn't change how you play the game. It's just there. It makes the game look a bit cooler or whatever.
And in turn, Ruby and Sapphire introduced new mechanics. Introduced like diving. It had like all these islands you could explore. Like it did that sort of thing that was also kind of stripped back in Gen 4. And then so on and so on and so on. Like we have these things, right? Like we get new mechanics. And sometimes we lose pre-existing ones. Like I'm seeing a lot of people be angry about Z moves and Mega Evolutions, like kind of ignoring the established lore that those things were kind of exclusive to that specific region. And maybe Game Freak is like retooling those concepts so they're more balanced in subsequent entries, and then maybe they can try new things. Like I am personally super hyped for the Dynamax thing.
So this part I completely disagree with you, but I really disagree with you throughout the whole video. So nevertheless, but Pokemon is not cutting out Z moves and Mega Evolutions because it balances the game. It's because they don't have to add the sprites and stuff. It's because they're lazy, okay? And Dynamax Pokemon, it's fine that you like them, but you cannot tell me that they're not uninspired. They're just big Pokemon. It's just stupid. And of course, Mega Evolutions are not regional. They were in, I don't know how many regions now? They were in a huge amount of regions. They were in Kanto, they were in Hoenn, they were in Kalos. They've been in, tons of regions. They were also in Alola, so that's not regional. So why is there no Mega Evolutions in this new game? It's because Pokemon doesn't want to make them. And so far, the only new mechanics we've really seen is the Dynamax Pokemon and the Dynamax raids. And again, I'm not a big fan of the Dynamax Pokemon, but that's fine, whatever.
I feel like people are so adamant. They're so angry about what they don't have in Pokemon Sword and Shield. They're not seriously thinking about what they do have, which is a fantastic looking Pokemon game with like a cool new region, cool new features, cool new online functionality, cool new Pokemon. The Pokemon look great.
Okay, no. Pokemon Sword and Shield is not a fantastic looking game. It does not look good at all. It looks good for 3DS, not for the Switch. Okay? So this point is terrible. People should not have to praise Game Freak for doing their job, for making good looking Pokemon. I'll praise Game Freak when they make a good game and change up the, do something that's actually creative. They've been making the same game for years, and that's fine, but I shouldn't have to praise them for making good looking Pokemon. Not to mention, people have been praising them. People love a bunch of the new Pokemon. I have a video I made a couple weeks ago where I praised the Pokemon. People like the Pokemon. The region looks okay. It doesn't look too cool, but it doesn't look bad. People shouldn't have to praise them. But I'm going to get pissed off when they take out a huge mechanic from the game.
Cool new gym leader, cool settings. Everything about Sword and Shield has looked stellar so far.
Not the game.
So to see a bunch of butthurt pretendo nobodies making YouTube videos, disliking Nintendo's Treehouse streams, making all these angry tweets, attacking Game Freak, insisting that Game Freak should be removed from Pokemon, which is like which is hilarious in and of itself. Who would you replace them with? Like, I'm hearing people like throw out suggestions like Namco Bandai. And
okay, I agree with you. Nintendo should not replace Game Freak with Bandai. That'd be a pretty bad decision. But you're just dismissing people's opinions by calling them butthurt, calling them pretendos. What is that? Actually respond to what they're actually saying and stop just calling them pretendos. All right.
And like who else was? Namco was like the one that that stuck out in my mind as being particularly ridiculous. Like I was just imagining, it's like someone out there has probably seriously suggested that Game Freak should step aside and let Level 5 make Pokemon from now on. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. You are not respecting the developers. You are not respecting Pokemon Sun and Moon, right? You are not respecting the work they did on those games. You're not respecting what they're doing here, what the decisions they've made, like the reasoning behind those decisions. You are getting angry about a fucking video game and the amount of revenue from idiots who are willing to like shell out money for like card packs in FIFA or whatever the fuck people are willing to pay for. So EA, regarding all of the bullshit that's surrounding it. Now, there's the stuff that people are actively talking about. Like, I'm going to have to make like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 videos talking about like everything that's wrong with the service. I'll have to like try to, no, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It keeps incorporating more obnoxious game mechanics. It keeps in, things like the switches, where you have to...
No. That's not a point, okay? Why can't people be pissed off at video games, all right? Can I not be mad at, a Marvel movie if it is bad? Just because it is a video game or a movie? Why can't I be mad at it? And again, there is no reasoning why they took out the national decks, except for the fact that they said it would take too much work. That is not a reason, that is being lazy. So there is no reasoning. Give me one reason why they took it out besides we didn't have enough time, and I'll give it to you. But there is no reasoning. Maybe if they said we literally cannot fit in the game file, they didn't say anything. They just said, hey, we don't have enough time. They haven't said any reason. They don't have an excuse. It's just Game Freak being lazy.
Video game. And that to me is laughable. That to me, I do not respect this controversy. I don't endorse it, against it. I do not like this. I will, just as I supported Pokemon Let's Go last year and supported and ended up enjoying Pokemon Let's Go, I am going to buy Pokemon Sword day one and have an absolute blast with it. While you fucks will be bitching at home, whacking off to Gardevoir porn. Now, which one of us is the bigger fan? Ask yourself that.
Oh, you want me to answer your question? Oh, okay. Well, it's me. Not just me, but all the people that actually care about the games, okay? And I'm not talking about people who just jump on the hate train or whatever and say stuff without ever playing a Pokemon games. I'm talking about people like me who've played through the games and loved the games and, really love the series, okay? You don't love the series. You're not a real fan because you're just sitting there defending them on any case because you don't want to ruin the Pokemon reputation, okay? Just like you said you're going to...
and have an absolute blast with it. While you...
sitting on our ass complaining or whatever, you don't care if something is taken out even though it will objectively make the game better because you're anti-consumer, as Fritanga Plays calls you, peasant. Anti-consumer peasant. I care about what happens to the games because I like them. I want them to be better, and I actually care what happens. You don't. You don't. You don't care what happens because you're a Nintendo fanboy, and you'll defend them no matter what the case is. So really, I'd say I'm more the fan. Maybe you are a super fan of Pokemon, but you're not showing it here by just, spitting out what Nintendo wants you to say. I actually have an opinion, okay? Thanks, guys, for watching. This was an unusual video, but I felt I had to make this video. So if you want to subscribe, do that. If you want to dislike, you can do that too. I'll see you guys in the next one.